So we'll call the meeting to order. If we want to go ahead and do a roll call.
Okay. Sorry, I'm getting to the right place. Okay, John Hauser,
Here.
Matt Hunton,
Here.
and Camille Mountjoy.
Here.
Tasha Padilla,
Here.
and let's see, Anna Hansen.
Here.
Okay. Okay, all present.
All right. Next is just the approval of minutes from May 22nd, 2024. Any comments on that, or we
I'll
all
make a
good?
motion to approve.
Second.
Hey, everybody approve of them? I think say aye, right? Aye. Okay. All right. We'll follow the list here. So, that we have for the presentations for the Lodgers tax application. Once you are done, you guys can leave. That's what we usually do, and we'll let everybody know what's decision is hopefully here in the next week or so. So first up, we have the Roosevelt County Chamber of Commerce, Stephen Harden.
And may I interject, in your packs, his should all be there, but they may not be in the order that you see on the agenda.
Okay.
But they should be there.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I went ahead and labeled my list for the packets, so that may be completely different than what y'all have, so we will get through this. So to begin, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to present before the committee and the community. I do not take this lightly. When I came on board of the chamber several months ago, we had not received our lodgers tax reimbursement for the previous quarter, and things were getting pretty close. So again, I'm grateful for this opportunity. I know a number of us are new when it comes to lodgers tax, and we all did our best we could with this process. And I appreciate all those who went above and beyond to make this come together. So with that in mind, please let me know if there's anything else that is in need prior to the approved event. So let's begin. In the application, it stated 5 minutes per speaker, but my understanding of this is typically 1 packet per speaker, implying 5 minutes per packet. History shows the chamber has not been typical with multiple packets. This year we have 9. Don't worry, I will not talk the full 45 minutes and plan to not even come close to that. I know everyone's time is finite as well as attention spans, so I will highlight each proposed packet briefly. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to ask. And if I do not have an immediate answer, I'd be happy to research and put any extra time and effort to make things happen. So packet 1, what I have is the Events and Visitors Center. If that's everybody's packet, so I'll let you guys. So for our Events and Visitors Center, our Events and Visitors Center and staff are integral parts of the chamber. This acts as a hub for visitors and members alike. Our software, supplies, and services keep us connected. Our promotion and events coordinator is a key player in our organization. Part of this fund actually goes to their salary. If they started at most other positions, they would be making more with far less responsibilities. Considering their commitment, work ethic, recent completion of their Bachelor of Science in Business Administration with a concentration in business development, it only makes sense to increase this fund. So that would be packet 1. And I'm not really sure how this works. So do I just move to the next one, or are there
So this is the Roosevelt County Chamber of Commerce.
Events and visitors.
Events and Visitor Center. Okay. And this is all the expenses, right, for the visitor center that you guys have.
Correct.
Okay. So we know. Okay,
The one for 40,000.
Yes, ma'am.
What are the hours of the visitor center?
8 to 5.
Just Monday through Friday?
Yes, ma'am. Unless we have events or something else going on, and then we will typically close for that period of time.
has there been any thoughts of keeping it open Saturday when most people are coming in? Even limited hours with a student there or something like that?
There haven't been thoughts of that, but if that is something that's a possibility, we could look into that.
It's just a discussion we've had in the past is that, most people are coming into town on Saturdays and Sundays from out of town, so. Might be an idea. Just take a look.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions we have on this one?
What was the big change on it? In the previous years, you received a lot lower fund. What was the change on it?
For an increase in salary for the promotions coordinator.
The extra, okay.
Is that a student or is that someone that's
It's
hired?
full-time faculty or faculty. Sorry, I'm a teacher as well. So it's a full-time staff.
I don't have any questions.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, what's the next one you're gonna hit on?
Okay, and the next one will be the Hispanic Chamber. For
What's
packet.
the title?
It should be Hispanic branch, I believe.
You guys have it? I'm not seeing anything in span. What's the event name? I mean, at the top there, because that's what we're going off of. So we have slated events, we have Heritage Days, Peanut Fest promotion. Extended advertising, billboard, and 4th of July.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, there's no Hispanic one in there. That one.
In compiling his paperwork into the packet, I honestly didn't find an Hispanic. I saw the separated pack that you was labeled Hispanic branch, but when I looked at them, they seemed to duplicate one of the others. I think the one that you just presented possibly.
Yeah,
So,
so I'm not seeing anything for Hispanic. Are you guys seeing anything at all?
I am.
Well, and maybe, I don't remember.
No,
seeing
she's saying
anything
she didn't put it
Okay.
in.
Alright.
I didn't find it in all of the submitted.
I have part of it here and part of it was submitted at least. Can I present it? Would that be?
That would be up to the committee and the chair, and I personally don't have a problem with it. And if maybe it's just a suggestion, not knowing how people proceed with this, but if he wants to present it and then he provide a better copy that we can then forward to you by email, would that work?
Yeah, that's.
Yeah,
I'm
sorry
okay
about
with it. Are
that.
you guys okay?
So I really do appreciate that. So I'm really excited about this. We've been in talks with this over the last few months. So the idea of this is making a Hispanic branch of the chamber. This seems like an obvious decision, especially considering our demographics in the area. This will be akin to the chamber ambassadors, leadership, PMAC, et cetera. So it's not going to be a replacement of the chamber by any means. but rather a tool to be utilized not only by our chamber and community, but will draw in more people to our community from around the state and West Texas.
What are you looking for? Because we don't have any funding,
So the ask is 15,000.
and that is for,
This will include,
Oh, it's the Portales Events and Visitor Center one.
Oh, there were two of those, so.
there's,
yeah, I think it
1,000
may have
because
gotten,
says the Heritage.
may have gotten copied inadvertently with the same title page.
It was the branch merch, 5,000, materials, 55.
Correct. Okay,
and
sweet. I
supplies,
was like,
45.
I knew I sent it in.
Okay, yeah.
I remember reading about it.
Okay, good.
okay,
So yes, branding, merch, materials, supplies and expense. So as you know, starting off, anything new takes the seed money with that, and part of this will be getting the initial information out there. So I think this will be a no-brainer once everything is put into place.
okay. Any questions on it? Okay, next one, Stephen, what's next?
Next for packet 3, Heritage Days.
Okay.
And for Heritage Days and Peanut Festival, y'all are familiar with these, so I'm gonna go pretty quick on these. These are very brief. So basically this brings car enthusiasts, class reunions, runners and families and vendors to the event. I went ahead and changed some from last year as far as the way we advertise, because with some of the advertising, it didn't make sense to spend that particular amount that way. So I went ahead and lessened that, but did change it up in some other areas just so we can make sure we're utilizing the most of our budget and where it would resonate the most with the public and with the audience.
Anyone have any questions? on that? Okay. Next one, Stephen, go ahead.
It will be Peanut Festival. So again, this one's very brief as well. This past year, there were over 100 booths at the Peanut Festival, and a number of the vendors were from out of town. This event draws people from surrounding areas and is a great opportunity for a last fall road trip mixed with Christmas shopping. So this will draw people into our community for that.
You have TV advertising in here. Does that include cost of production? And have you talked to these people about these prices, or is this an estimate?
This is an estimate.
Is that the biggest difference versus last year? Because it's a big jump.
That's the main difference, although the
I think they
This-
had it in the setup.
yes, I was gonna say
very last
the
year.
setup will
versus
be
last year.
a different.
And have you guys looked at setup to talk to like student organizations and stuff for volunteers? Because that's a pretty big ask for setup when there's so many groups that need volunteer hours around here.
I've talked to Jody Bailey
Mhm.
about it. He said he might be able to get some guys with it, but it also depends on availability.
Well, there's about
base.
50 student organizations on our campus plus the base where you could probably get volunteer hours too.
The base they have to have it, so.
Right.
And is the security 1,500, is that what we paid last year on it?
I believe it was around that amount.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions?
Nope.
Okay, what's next, Steven?
The next one will be packet 5 promo items. So I put, this is huge. Branding is key, and marketing is how we get people to our town. With that comes items that people want. The chamber gives away bags at numerous events, and takes them to Cannon on a consistent basis. If we can get people to recognize our branding and want to be, and they want to be associated with our area, they'll want to come here and take more trips and to check out what our community has to offer. So another place they take these are to Santa Fe, to the legislature and things of that nature. So if we can get things in people's hands, it'll be not only something that's tangible, but it'll also be having the subliminal messages when they see that every day. Oh, hey, come to Portales, come to our area.
Do you know how many of each you're trying to order? I mean, because like some of these are like ink pens, you can get those as cheap as like 20 cents. The
It will,
keychains, yeah, and lanyards. I mean,
right, it'll depend. I've checked out some of these companies with their prices and everything, and those do fluctuate depending on when we order and all that kind of stuff. But depending, I wanted to see how well they went over before I ordered a large quantity of each. Because sometimes, hey, this might work out great, and then it doesn't resonate with people, or we couldn't have enough of these.
And you say local products for 1,500. What are you talking about local products?
That will be a mixture of just different, we have the different vendors here that make things from our area. So I would really like to support some of our local people.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions?
Do you know how many bags this is gonna make? Or how many, like on your visitor bags, how many is that bringing? Do you know?
I think it was. I think it was like 2,000, but I'll check on that. I'm not.
So is this the stuff you guys give away at newcomers?
Right.
The yellow bags.
I got you.
Correct.
So that's the only place you use this at is newcomers, right?
No, we have people call in all the time for different events,
Okay.
and then we'll make bags for them as well.
Gotcha.
And the event shirt and caps, what are those ones for?
Those will be for different things such as Heritage Days, Peanut Festival, things of that nature, depending on what's going on. But I really want to get stuff specifically for Portales, for Chamber, for things of that nature, so we can have more promotional items that people will use and utilize. Because if you use it, or if you want to use it, you're going to advertise for us. If it's something that, hey, what's this? Just throw away. What's the point of making it?
Okay. Any other questions, guys? Yeah. Sorry. Okay, what's next, Stephen?
Packet 6 would be the 4th of July celebration. So with this, festivals draw crowds, especially if there are fun and unique things going on. We are going to be doing a 4th of July celebration this year, which will hopefully be the beginning of a yearly event. As it grows, more people will want to attend and bring their families, because when we have a big event in the area, it'll start bringing more people. In the packet, a lot of that stuff with the venue and things in there are not accurate now. I found out later. There was a miscommunication with that. So that will not be accurate. But as far as the ideas and everything behind it, we're still going to be doing that.
My question on this, Stephen, is 4th of July is 3 weeks away. By the time we award this, it'll be June 22nd before we get any commitment. Do you think you'll be able to spend $4,900 and get the return on your advertising with some of these asks? Because spending $1,000 in a newspaper would be like they only run twice, and that's just my question is when you look at the 4th of July, and this has been an issue we've run into in previous years with the chamber, is you guys ask for all this money, but by the time it's awarded, And by the time you can get the creative out for stuff, like you're asking 1,500 for flyers, do you guys have the flyers created yet?
No.
See, and that's another, to create flyers takes time, and so that's my question on this is, I know you guys are trying to put on an event, but we're 2 weeks away from 4th of July or 3 weeks away from 4th of July, so by the time we get approval here, how are you guys gonna be able, I mean, this is a $5,000 ask for an event in 3 weeks.
Right. So with that, this was my thinking, and I don't know if this is correct or accurate, because I know we'd had a conversation about this. Am I correct in this thinking where we could use this for the next 4th of July as well? Or is that
No,
incorrect?
it's awarded for July 1 through June 30th,
Okay, okay.
right? Yes, July
Yeah.
1 through June 30th. So,
That was
You're-
actually one of my questions. Particularly for this event. It seems so hard. To get it planned for correctly and paid for correctly and get the money into your hands, but it's like
but that's,
virtually tomorrow.
yeah,
Right.
that's where we're, from being on this for 6 years now. I mean, that's my understanding, it has to be spent in the fiscal year.
Okay,
We can't roll in an award to next year. It's
Okay.
gotta be,
You have
hey,
to use it. this
you have to
year.
use it
Okay.
this year.
But I would argue by June 30th of 25, or next year's 4th of July, I mean, 90% of it
spend it.
would have to be spent anyway.
Yeah,
I mean, because that goes to your argument of, well, you don't have time to spend it.
right.
Well, if he
If
has
you
it
have
now,
Yes.
and advertise it in June
you
next year.
can
you
spend
do
it
that
at the
that
end
way.
of June.
if
Okay.
you're, yes, exactly, if you're getting your ads ready and you're
Yeah.
getting your giveaways ready in the events. Then you could potentially.
Then it would
apply
have to
and
be for
spend.
next year's 4th of
Correct.
July is what you would have to use this money for more than anything. Okay,
Okay.
sounds good. Thanks, Matt.
Where's it gonna be at?
We're going to be over, we're actually gonna, I haven't made this full announcement, but we're gonna be partnering with Simple Simons. And we're gonna be doing the whole big area back there. It's gonna be really cool.
Like the parking lot or back behind it?
Back behind it, well, it's gonna be both. We're gonna have, it's gonna be really cool, actually.
Over there by McDonald's.
One thing we didn't want to do with this, since we are doing the event, we didn't want to cause any kind of, oh, hey, do this and do ours and all this kind of stuff. So we wanted to come together as a community as opposed to make people
Okay.
do all these separate things.
And what time are y'all planning on having the event at?
It'll be from 10 to 10.
10 in the morning to 10 at night?
We'll have specific activities going on throughout the day, but it'll also be come and go.
Anyone else have questions?
I'm good.
Okay, next one, Steven.
Packet number 7. This will kind of go with 7 and 8. It'll be billboards and extended advertising. So what I did with these ones, what I have here is advertising is everything. After all, if you don't know about something, how can you attend or partake in it? We want to continue our efforts with billboards and extended advertising such as brochures, magazines, radio, etc. So with this, and I've had a few discussions outside of here on the way we do billboards and different contracts and things of that nature. With that, I really want to utilize those tools and resources on how we're going to be advertising. We do have some contracts currently, but I want to see what it's going to be, what it would take to change some of the locations and to make it more more opportunistic for people to come to this area as opposed to seeing something on this highway and being like, oh, well, that doesn't even really affect them or their travel here. So I want to be able to do that. And with that, I don't have that on here for that exact amount because I have varies and stuff, but I know within that discussion, it was cheaper than some of the stuff we have here. So
Are we on the billboard one then?
yes,
Yeah, so you're asking 14,000 for billboards. So the sign man sign one, how many billboards is that for?
I believe that is 3, I believe.
And is that a 3-year lease or is that per year? Like,
It's just, we have a 3-year contract.
and we need to do wrap replacements on all of them or,
I think we need to do all because we want to go ahead and update what we have as well.
okay, and the one in Alamogordo we talked about last year, we need to
It was the
replace
wrong
that
direction. Or
location.
something.
We need to,
Facing the opposite
yeah, we
way.
need to replace that location to a different billboard. Are you gonna try to stay in Alamogordo or are you gonna look at I-40 or what are you planning?
I think I-40 would probably be a good way to go, just because we'll have more traffic potentially coming from that direction.
Okay, what is the state of New Mexico, $40?
Just our fee for some of the advertising, I believe, for that.
Okay,
Some of this is previous, from previous years with what Carl had. So some of it I left because
so you're asking for, do you know which 3 billboards they are in Portales here?
I believe it's the one over on 70. The one by Melrose, I think. And
Okay.
then
The one by, there's Melrose and then there's one up by Base or something that we have and then we got.
oh yeah, that
and
one
then
over on the
by
far side on the
the America's Best Value Inn that has Portales on it, and then the other ones that are up are just expired leases that they went ahead and just sign man's never taken them down. Or so, okay. All right. Okay. Any other questions? All right,
and this kind of went into the extended advertising. So this goes into our brochures, the magazine, banners, radio, and things of that nature. So the magazine is a big thing that we do, obviously, and I may tweak it up this year. I mean, this, I guess it doesn't really matter with this, but I want to focus more on narratives and stories of the area. So I think it'll be more of a, it'll resonate with people more. So that's something I really want to do.
so the one we've always questioned here is the NM True Adventure Guide. What are you guys getting with that? Because that's a $7,600 investment. And we've gone, over the years, I've heard the chamber say, well, it's not worth it, or it's worth it. That's a big investment. What are you guys gonna get out of that? How many issues are you in? What size ad?
Honestly, with some of this stuff, I'm not 100% sure on some of this,
Okay,
but I can research that.
okay,
I just want, with some of this, I wanted to make sure I had some of it in there so I wouldn't
okay.
leave anything out.
Anyone else have any questions on this one? Okay. All right, and I think this is the last one, slated events, right?
Correct.
Okay,
So slated events, there are plenty of slated events that can happen within the next year. I've met with individuals about these events, such as wine festival, a barbecue cook-off, etc. And other ideas such as a circus, TED Talk type events, and more things that will bring people to our community. This ask is with that in mind. I would like to set up an event fund that would help facilitate these activities, which in turn would bring more people to our community. So with this, and I'm not sure if this is even anything that can work or not, but when I was trying to figure out all the logistics behind all of this, there wasn't a clear answer with this. So we said, just go for it and we'll see what happens. So the idea behind this is basically, if there are things throughout the year that would be drawing people in, why don't we have something set up where we can actually utilize these funds to make these events happen, as opposed to try to scramble to get these things done or solely rely on sponsorship, which we have amazing sponsors, but sometimes as a smaller community, they're already sponsoring so many different things, we don't want to spread them too thin. So this was my thought behind this. And again, I don't know the logistics or accuracy or anything behind this because I am brand new with this, but I wanted to see how that worked with it.
Okay. Anyone have any other questions? All right, okay, thanks, Stephen. I think, do you have anything else? Are we good?
So not nearly 45 minutes. I appreciate all your time. And then I do know that there is a certain amount that has to be spent every year from lodger's tax, and I don't know how that works. So just keep that in mind for all of us. So
Okay.
thank you for your time.
Sounds good.
Thanks.
All right, next up is the Roosevelt County Fairgrounds. We got it. Saw the email to us.
but I have a printout.
Yeah, I saw it in the email.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that one, and I don't think I'm seeing the one for ENMU either in this packet.
It should be there.
I didn't see anything.
I have.
You guys can share this one.
I have one for
We can
the
share.
fair, but yeah, I don't have any.
Yeah,
We have
there's
the
the fair. Yeah, we got nothing for ENMU and we got nothing for the fair. Well, you guys know.
I know everything was sent out by email.
Yeah,
yesterday,
yeah, I can pull it
but,
up via email.
I know that the hard copies
Yeah,
were in the stacks.
Okay. Just give me a sec to pull it up. Sorry, guys. Give me a sec. You emailed them all, so I can pull it up on my phone. We're good. Let's see here. Okay, all right. As soon as the internet catches up here. Okay, I got it right here. Okay. All right. Okay, you can go ahead. I think we're
Alright,
good. Yeah,
morning.
yeah.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, I know things have been a little crazy. I wouldn't have known about this because Joanne and Marilyn always emailed me or called me, and 2 days before this was due I just luckily saw Camille and she told me about it. So I had to kind of guesstimate on the advertising, if it was going to be more than in the past. Because I was not able to get in touch with everything that I normally have time to do. Was able to reach out to the sheriffs to find out, to make sure there wasn't going to be a big jump in the increase, because sometimes they've gone up $10 or $15 an hour on our rate of using them, but they will be the same as last year. So so the advertising may not be as much as what I put down there. Because I was not able to reach out to everybody on that. But as you guys know, the fair is one of the longest running events in this county. And we are still tickled that we still have as much from the community, that put things and enter things in our fair. And our fair is just always something that everybody looks forward to coming to participate in. Last year we did have a special needs day that turned out to be just fabulous. We had over 100 special needs kids that participated, even had some come up with a big busload from Hobbs that will be here again this year. So we get a lot of bias advertising, a lot of different people involved from around the state on that. So, and this year we've reached out for to do something a little different on a rodeo night with Albert. For one of the things we're trying to get Eastern more involved, the ENMU rodeo team. And I went and visited with James Johnson and then Albert, and we're going to do something like a triathlon night or show where we'll just kind of showcase the rodeo kids, the team of what we have here, and let the public see them. And then we plan on feeding them barbecue also on that Saturday night. So that's something kind of new that we've added this year. And of course, then we'll have our entertainment. We've got State Line on Friday night, and then Will Bannister on Saturday night is our two big entertainers. And one of the things I did ask for that is kind of new that I haven't been in the past is to maybe some help with the janitorial. We've been trying to do that in-house and it's just been kind of a wreck. So that's really kind of the only new thing I've added from the years past. So,
Okay, does anyone, I got a question, but want to be the first one going all the time. So you guys have anything? My only question, and this is just no one advertising, is you have a 2-week run on radio on our local radio stations where you're spending $5,000. That is, I don't know if you can spend that much in 2 weeks because that is
I turn it in every year and we do, because I mean, we do radios in Muleshoe, Lovington, we try to hit everywhere.
So what
That-
here it says KCell. I'm just asking what's the stations in Lovington and Hobbs and places like that, because you don't have it. That's what I'm wondering, because you put all the stuff I'm seeing here is our local stations, and that's just the question I had.
Yeah, that one at Hobbs I didn't list.
Yeah, and Lovington and Knollmark and people like that. So you would take this 5,000 and you wouldn't just dump it all into
No,
the local
no, it
market. It
goes-
would go to the regional radio stations.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I just didn't have time to, and because I turned in the packet from last year, which we haven't been paid on yet because it's been lost at the city since January, I believe. Oh, I don't know.
You'll have to follow up with TJ after the meeting.
Yeah,
so.
I've met with the Melissa a couple of times.
Yeah,
and
we're well aware of some of the
Yeah,
issues going
I
on.
know
We
there's a
apologize
lot
about
of
that.
change going
So,
on, so we just.
so yeah,
make
just
sure
if
we have-
I from Eastern New Mexico University, we had to go meet with the people several times with TJ and it will get straightened out. So just
Okay.
you can follow up with them,
Okay,
and they've been good about it.
Resubmit, I know that's unpleasant, but if you'll resubmit whatever you submitted before, just resubmit it
okay,
and send it to the city clerk.
okay, okay,
I'm the city clerk now, it's no longer Joanne,
okay.
so you should be able to find that on the city's website.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Okay.
had to submit our invoices to them, and they've been really good about it, and we got paid. So
Yeah, I think it just
You
got
should
lost.
get that.
So,
Well, and there was the move and so many hardcore, longtime
Mhm.
people that worked there and knew everything, they put,
Okay.
they read
Yes.
it out.
yeah,
So-
I understand. Yeah,
There's just
so,
been a huge.
okay, so but just for clarification, you
Mm-hmm.
guys plan on using the radio regionally and not just locally, right?
right,
Okay.
right. And then we also do Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and, you know,
Okay,
all that social media stuff also.
okay,
Um,
that's what we just need to make sure
yeah.
on. So,
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Okay.
and we just.
okay.
try our best.
Anyone
Thank
else
you,
have any other
everybody.
questions?
Have any other questions for the fair?
No, we're
No.
good.
Well,
Okay.
everybody come and enjoy.
All right. Okay, next one, College Days Rodeo. Coach Flynn, if you wanna.
If I may,
Yeah.
just for a moment, it should be in there, but this page 4,
Yeah.
which is kind of critical to recognizing who you're looking at, is printed on the back of page 3. So it may not be easy to see or
Okay.
recognize, but it should be in there.
Okay,
I found it in my stack, so.
all right, Coach, if you wanna. Come on up. What's going on with my phone? Let's see this thing.
Yeah.
I have two requests. And I'll do the first one as what we've continued doing over the years. Request for our funding for advertising, ambulance service, sanitation service, and our and that request is about $7,475. With the bulk of it spent in advertising and ambulance service. We have an estimated ambulance service of about $3,100 for the 3 days. tell you a little bit about the rodeo itself. Um, it has an economic impact to the city of about $750,000. It brings in 630 contestants, along with all of the people that come with the rodeo, the stock contractors, announcers, secretaries, pickup men. And then we pay for about 12 motel rooms for the judges, the announcer, the stock contractor, and special guests that we invite to the rodeo that weekend. The rodeos continue to be live streamed, every bit of it, from the slack to the rodeo. And the hits run anywhere from 10,000 to 13,000 hits during viewing. We feel like we probably put on one of the best rodeos in the region. We won't have the largest one because of the fact that ours is early and a lot of kids don't get their paperwork in to where they can actually rodeo. So as the rodeos go on in the fall, those that continue to get their paperwork, and those rodeos go up 10 more people or something like that. So 630, we'll have 200 breakaway ropers and 160 barrel races, along with 100 calf ropers and 100 team ropers. It's a slack runs from 9 to 2 each day, and the rodeo starts at 7, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Saturday night is a short round called championship night. And that's probably one of the best rodeos you'll see, with the top 10 in each event. So, for advertising, we use the local radio station, Sign Man Sign, Clovis News, and the Fort Sumner livestock market, which carries a large area of their livestock advertising paper. So we feel like we get our advertising money pretty well worth the money.
I just got another. You have a second part of this one, right?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
The second part of my request is a request. We're continuing to, our original goal is to cover the outdoor arena. But to do that, we're trying to do this in phases to where we can afford to put them up. We have built what we call the multi-purpose room on the south side of the arena, and recently built a feed and equipment facility behind the bleachers on the north side. We still have to add a little bit to each one of them. And we put up a viewing stand behind the bucking chutes for the announcer, and we have some extra rooms up there for different radio stations if they want to choose and come broadcast the event. At this time, we want to build a viewing stand behind the roping box. That viewing stand will be handicap accessible. At some time, we'll have a restroom in it and a snack bar. I think right now, we're trying to build the shell so that then we can add everything else to it. That's pretty much the way we build things around there, so that we can build them as we receive money. We was thinking this project's going to cost $5 million to complete the whole project. So when we went to building, we've spent pretty close to $1 million already. So, and we've been able to get outside funding, but at this time, we're asking the lodgers tax for $10,000 to help us with this next project. It'll be an 80 by 18 by 80 open area. When we do the restroom, it'll take up 20 feet. About 60 feet of this is usable for handicapped people can come up in there and sit and watch. If it rains, it rains. They can still watch the rodeo and not have to hustle down the grandstands. And it's a part of the phases that we're putting together for the covered arena, stuff that we'll need.
Anyone have questions about it at all? All right, thanks, Coach. Appreciate
your
it.
time. Thank you all very much.
Okay, next is ENMU, but it's not me, obviously. We got Sean Banther here to present for ENMU.
None of these were in. They
Yeah.
are in the email, but not the.
You guys
packets.
go to the email. I don't know if you have your phone and go to the email.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me. Let me know when y'all are ready with your packets.
Yeah, it's not in there, but I can fill you guys in as needed, so.
It will not be in a hard copy format. It should have been emailed to you last night.
That's all.
No, I know it very well, so there you go. You can look at that. You're all right. All right, go ahead, Sean. You're good.
All right, so I just want to go over some of these here that we have. Just keep in mind as I'm going through some of these items, most of this is focused on stimulating people coming into Portales from the regional areas, as well as building interest within the local area as well. So keeping in mind, eat here, shop here, stay in our hotels. That's the general goal of many of the events and promotionals that we have outlined on this. So I'll start off first with the Albuquerque Isotopes ad promotion that we have. This one here is for game sponsorships, video ads, and this is game sponsorship and the video board ads. And then we also have one for the Amarillo Sod Poodles, which also includes the game sponsorship and video board ads. Both of those groups there, those audiences are large audiences that can bring in interest to an ENMU event, also bring attention to Portales as well by incorporating Portales into those advertisements and promotionals. So after that, we also have the Bolin Boards request. And I believe there's a total of 5 billboards that are on I-40 and US 70 in Alamogordo. Those, of course, highlight Eastern as well as Portales to build the interest in the university as well as our local area. So after that, we also have the ENMU concert and Rally on Main events. I believe y'all should be familiar with those. The ENMU concert, we have an annual concert. The most recent one, we had Rodney Atkins, which brought in approximately 2,000 people there. And this ask includes social media and staffing. For Rally on Main, and this also includes social media and staffing. If y'all had attended the Rally on Main event last year, it brought in a lot of local interest, brought people into the area around our local businesses, and it just generates a lot of interest for the area. So for this next upcoming Rally on Main, we have locked in Will Bannister, so a local name that we can have for the performance there. Just a heads up. And I forgot to cover on the Bolin boards. That brings in approximately 12, the estimate is about 12,500 cars per day. So if we're looking at an idea of how much interest we can build off of having those billboards placed, it's about 12,500 cars per day that's generating. So that was just some quick highlights we have on this. I can stand for any questions that you have on any of the asks present inside this document.
I have questions on the billboards. How come the chamber and ENMU don't go in together and do that instead of them getting billboards and you getting billboards. You know what I'm saying? If you did half of the billboard ENMU and then the other half Visit Portales, whatever.
I don't have a question for that immediately, but if the board wishes, we can go ahead and
I
I can give you
can,
the answer.
you know, we do promote Portales on those billboards. If you drive on I-40 or the one in Alamogordo, there is Portales promotions there that it says each day sleep. The chamber has not approached us in the past, to work on this as far as going half and half. The billboards that are used on I-40 are there to promote, you know, it's ordinary people, extraordinary success. So we have people such as Mike Boyd, who won a bronze medal, Renata Perry Gallian, who's in the state government. We have a guy that is a graduate of Eastern that's out at, he's working for the ABC out in LA as another one. And this previous cycle, Miss New Mexico is actually still in college at Eastern. So we were promoting her. And then we promote the last one with Ralph and the distance Portales with the hotel, and it's portales.com with the city logo on it. So it's been kind of that. So, but it is something that we can talk about for that. So
That was a dog.
no. I'm just letting you
He's
know.
getting
Yeah,
billboard, you're getting billboard on 40.
Yeah.
Why don't you guys collaborate and save some money?
it's an idea. We haven't thought about
Yeah.
that. So, and then the isotopes and sod poodles, isotopes average 500,000 fans a game, and sod poodles are 400,000 too, just so you guys know. So, any other questions?
Cause that kind of covers both, like chamber does billboards, you do sod poodles, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And then you're getting a bunch of audiences.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Do the
Ideas.
baseball games run all season?
Yeah,
There's
there's-
extra, so are you able to change that as well? So, you know, like, we have this concert at this time, or is it just?
We do an in-game promotion. So if you go to the Isotopes games, it's we do a Simba cam where kids hold up their future greyhounds, and then as part of that PA, we advertise, come visit the warm heart of the Sun Belt, Portales, New Mexico, home of Eastern New Mexico University. So we're as well as putting the Portales logo up on the boards, and then for the Isotopes also, like that sponsored game that's coming up on, it's actually this Saturday. We've given 50 some tickets to the city so their employees can go to that game. If you go to their website, it's on there. And we had it as part of the packet. If you look at it, there is examples. City of Portales is named as the sponsor.
I can bring
It's
this up.
yeah, if you bring that up, City of Portales it kind of shows you guys there the different advertising that we do. So Portales is on the video board for the fireworks. It's listed on the ticket website. So it's a co-sponsorship with Portales on a lot of this.
Yeah, it's cool.
And we put Portales, we do a frozen t-shirt contest. We put Portales on the frozen t-shirts. So people walk out of there with a Portales,
Nice.
t-shirt as well. Yeah, if people need to go, you guys don't have to stick around. That was the other thing I wanted to let you guys know. So sorry, I should have said that earlier. So yeah, if you guys want to pass it down, then
Yeah.
take a look at it. Anything else for Sean? And sorry if I jumped in to answer some questions.
Well, what's the total answer on that?
It is
$60,000.
60,000 total, so between promotional and non-promotional.
All right.
Would you like individual towtotals on that for?
We
each
got
one?
it.
Oh, I
Yeah, I
got
got
it.
it.
Okay,
Yeah.
excellent.
My old eyes.
So,
Any other questions for y'all today?
I'm good.
All right,
All
thank
right.
y'all so much.
okay, Jody, you're the last one we have. Right.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for allowing me to come and present today. The RCCDC is hosting, we're not calling it an annual, but we are trying to host a summer jam, which is a 3-on-3 youth basketball and pickleball tournament. Leadership Portales hosted a tournament for pickleball back in April. And I personally have attended a couple 3-on-3 youth basketball tournaments this summer. And so as our board was talking, we wanted to try to bring those type of events to Portales. So Mine kind of go in a precursor, so Summer Jam into the next one, which is Gus Macker. Our 3-on-3 youth basketball, we are hoping to advertise to some of those teams that I do have some contacts for that attend some of those Gus Macker tournaments, and hope to bring kind of regional Southeast New Mexico teams to Portales. We also have contact lists from the Leadership Portales for their pickleball teams, and are hoping to bring some of those again from surrounding areas in for that tournament. I do have a flyer if you'd like to see it. I can just pass it around, but we are gonna have food truck vendors, concessions, music, and then there will be prizes and trophies along with that. Are there any questions on I do have quotes for the amounts that are on here. The only one that is, there were 2 questions and we weren't, since we've not applied for lodger's tax yet. We were not sure on liability, so that one there at the very bottom, we put it in, but we were not sure if that was an eligible expense.
So, yeah, I had a question. Sign man signs, banner and signs. Are those for you guys to produce sponsor signs that you're gonna sell, or what is that for?
Well, that was actually just for the banner. And so when the quote came in, it was almost $2,000 just for the banner itself.
That would go where?
That would go across like First or Second Street. And so
And are they available that week? Have you guys checked?
it would be July 22nd through
Okay.
the 27th. So that week I did go ahead and have them pencil in for that week. However, being that the cost is so high for the banner for 1 week, we could look at doing smaller, banners that we could hang around town, and also putting, I know they have like little yard signs, different things like that, where we could spread that around. That would be local, here in Portales, but we could spread that around even to Clovis, rather than just one banner. So that's an option we can look into.
Cost is probably to make the banner, not just the.
Yes, because there's the design with it. And then it used to be $200 to hang a banner for the week. But when you look at the design and then creating the banner itself, that is a pretty large expense. So anyways, we'll look at different options with that.
But
And
it
then
should
also,
be a one-time expense, right?
Yeah.
If you did it annually, then you could use it again. So
yes,
it's just your initial,
however, as I said, this is a precursor,
yeah.
and I'll get into that for the Gus Macker. So again, not knowing if we want to go with a banner, that large for a one-time event, kind of
Mhm.
seems like a lot, but couple different options for that we could potentially use. And then event staff, security, and medical. We met with Chief Malden, Chris Watson, and John Canmore the day after the application was due, was just when we could get together. So I don't have an exact quote on what the security is gonna be. And I've already briefly spoken with Coach Vo with the men's basketball team to see if they could assist with some of the staffing for, you have to have refs for the basketball games. So anyways, everything else though, I do have quotes for. If event shirts, we kind of just went off of, we kind of did an approximate number of participants, but also we're looking at getting sponsors too for that. So
And are you
anyways,
guys charging an entry fee too for this?
there will be, yes, it'll be $25 per person. We are going to give military and student discounts.
On that one, I was just noticing on, like Albert Flynn's, his Big John porta pots is way cheaper for. His is 1,200 for 4 days. Yours is 1,400 for.
Yeah, so I can
One
show you,
day,
this is,
2 days.
I don't know if he uses Mighty
That's
Vac.
It's different. company.
Yeah, different company. I
company.
was just saying, you may want to keep that in mind.
Okay, and who is it that he used?
He said Big John porta pots.
Big John, okay. Mighty Vac is who we had used in their local, so I will look into that, and I don't know too, without seeing that. Just if there's a drop off and, per day or what theirs is, but we can look into them as well. And this was 2 different options, 2 different estimates I got. One was with a hand washing station, and there was a difference of, I think, 2 portable toilets, 2 portable toilets versus 1. And if we put them in different locations, so they come as a set too. So, and I don't know if that's a difference, and because we do not out there, we're not going to have any place to wash hands.
You
So
have 2 things at the top there, example, is that an ask or what is that? Is it also has really old dates on it?
Yeah, no, that was just what was on the application.
So like, are you asking for $660 there or not?
No, that was just what was on the the
Oh,
blank
okay.
application.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Making sure.
Yeah, nope.
Where is it held?
We're gonna do it at the EMU pickleball courts, and they have now. The reason we added it and did kind of both was because now they've put in basketball courts over there. And so we really wanted to be able to, one, provide something for the whole family that, you know, maybe the parents could do pickleball, kids could join in on basketball. But the nice thing is they put 2 goals in there that are, they can move from 8 foot, 9 foot, 10 foot. And then there's 2 permanent 10-foot goals, which is what obviously like high school kids play on. So it gives us the opportunity to host a, you know, I'll go all the way down to like an 8U. So we're planning on having 4 different age groups, or actually we could do 5 different age groups and have things going at the courts. We're going to block off the College of Business parking lot, and then we're going to have food trucks, vendors, hopefully some face painting, different events going on.
And do you guys have any idea of how you'll keep track of like people traveling from out of town to attend the event? Is there a registration for it? And then you could be able to go off the address or any other ways?
Sure, here, I'm gonna pass this just so you can see it and it's ready. So, yes, so we are gonna have online registration, and then we do have a registration form we will have at the Enterprise Center where people can go. We'll email it out. So we'll be able to keep track just based on the registration fees. Or registration form, sorry, not fees. And then outside of that, I kind of used, Carl had said parking lot estimates. And I don't exactly know how you do that other than trying to get a gauge of how many cars are there. But yeah, the registration forms are going to be our biggest way to see who's coming from out of town. And I have talked to the different stations. John connected me with Gene. He also said we might could do, he said an interview with somebody, but we're really going to look at that, like Lovington, Artesia, Roswell. I think we could draw from that side, potentially West Texas, but I think it's going to be a Southeast New Mexico kind of draw.
Okay, and then last question on my end. The event dates on your application show 27th through 28th. Is it just the 27th, like the flyer, or is it something happening on the 28th as well?
So it could potentially be the 28th. So we have set up and already done a preliminary. If we have 6 teams per bracket, how can we get all the games done in one day? So it's kind of determined based on the number of teams we get. If we get over a certain amount of teams, it'll flow into the 28th. And so we'll just have to wait and see what our registration looks like.
The only thing I'd suggest is taking a look at those basketball courts, just because the sun beats on them and people have been dunking on the hoops, and also those hoops are backing up against a brick wall. So there might be some safety concerns there too. Just an FYI, as far
Yep.
as that goes.
And
So-
we've been out there and we met with the Eastern staff and then also a couple members on my committee. And we actually went down to the courts, so that didn't come up as a concern, but I can definitely throw that out there. And we did put on there, we're gonna have a medical tent and
Yeah, the brick walls always concern me, especially when you get kids going hard, and the way they tend to stumble.
yeah.
So, okay.
Great.
Anything-
Definitely, a 2-day event is always better than a one, because then they would stay over and
Well,
eat at restaurants if
and-
possible.
Right, and that is the idea, and I don't know if you want me to go, Matt, did you have a question?
Well, I was gonna say, just for numbers sake, and I can't find the flyer right now. Somebody sent me a 3-on-3 tournament in Roswell, and I think it's that same weekend.
Okay.
So that's gonna affect numbers for sure.
For Roswell, yeah. And when looking at the events, and that's what we kind of talked about, there's I think an ENMU event up at the Day at the Races, I believe is that weekend. And that's what Dr. Johnson had mentioned in our board meeting earlier, but we all kind of agreed, you just have to pick a date and go with it, because you're gonna conflict one place or another. So, but yes, with that, if we're ready to move to the next one, the whole idea of us trying to put together, we wanted to provide something for the community surrounding areas, bring people into Portales. But then also, we want it to be a 2-day event and want to have a whole weekend event. And so we have looked into trying to bring Gus Macker to Portales. Gus Macker is a national tour, so it would not just be within the state of New Mexico. It would actually be advertised nationwide. However, there is a large expense with the trademark name Gus Macker. So upfront cost is going to be approximately $20,000, and that's just for the licensing and fees. And they do bring in the goals, they bring in some staff, but there's still a large expense that is on the organization that's hosting. One of the things that we thought we would try this year is kind of to do a homegrown summer jam tournament, which is why we didn't want to do an annual, because we would like for this eventually to turn into a Gus Macker that would bring people definitely for the whole weekend and would bring people from all around the state, even out of state, to Portales. So with the Gus Macker, that was what we were asking. We also have to put in a proposal to Gus Macker. Just because we want to host one does not mean that we will be awarded, but they kind of have to work hand in hand. We have to have funding, you have to sign a contract, and you have to have licensing and fees up front to even be able to get on the national tour. So it kind of has to work hand in hand. And I know my event says July of 25. That's just an estimate because one, we don't know if we're on the tour yet. And so we thought we would see if we could get lodgers tax to help with bringing that event to Portales. And then if we're awarded, which I don't know if he's the director, but the contact for Gus Macker did email me back, and he said, he would send me an application for us to try to get Gus Macker here. So we'd have to go through that whole process too. But like I said, they kind of work hand in hand. We have to have the finances to be able to bring them, and also the proposal to do it as well. But even if we did not get Gus Macker, if for some reason they couldn't get the dates right to fit on their tour, we will still, we want this to be an annual thing where we're hosting something in our community each year. So
with Gus Macker, my question is, you're asking for 15,000 to help with the fees on that. From what I've seen in Ruidoso from theirs, they sell a lot of sponsorships for that. So is that the plan? Is if you do get Gus Macker, you're gonna sell sponsorships on top of that?
you will have to, yes.
So that's the question, then, is that if you're asking for us to pay the fees, but then you're gonna go in and make the money on top of it, I'm wondering, because that's kind of, the way some other events in town set up is that they front the cost and then go out and get the money.
Get the money.
Yeah, and then the lodgers tax funds are used more to advertise that event after the organization has done that. So that's my question: is the lodgers taxes, is it best use of the money to go ahead and, pay the fee instead of allocating the money, and then, event staff, Mighty Back, medical services, that stuff's allocated in lodgers tax, but the concern I have is paying the fee when, the way it's done with other events in town is we support the event with the lodgers tax to advertise people coming in, not upfront. Like the fair came in here, they're not asking for us to pay for Will Bannister to play at the fair. They're asking us to help them advertise that Will Bannister is going to be at the fair. And that's, I guess, my concern with the $15,000 ask here for the fees, is that you're asking for us to front the fees when I think lodgers tax more is about bringing the people in. So that would be my concern there.
Well, and there's a lot of other, this is the generic list of the expenses it takes. But we are a nonprofit organization, and Portales, we have the fair, we have the College Days rodeos, but outside of that, to host a Gus Macker, that would be all around the state. So basically we could go out and get sponsorships, but if we have got sponsorships, to know for, 15,000 is going to be huge, because as I said, we're a nonprofit. So we would not be able to upfront that cost. But it does come in for, actually, this is just a generic based on a certain number of teams. But you do profit some, but it also is charity. So you would use some of your organizations that you would get to come and assist, but you get sponsorships for t-shirts and trophies and various things that come along with it. And you guys would like to see, you know, kind of this breakdown on costs and all of that, I'd be happy to share that with the lodger stacks, because it would make a little more sense if you're looking at it, but anyways, those are our asks if they're,
And John, just to kind of add to what you said, I mean, in a sense, that Gus Macker fee really is advertising because that's what people, I mean, the Ruidoso one, my son's 13-14 age group had 42 teams playing.
Mhm.
And so they're playing because it is Gus Macker. So,
I got you, yeah.
you know, I mean, I see what you're saying on the whole amount, but
That's
it's
just what I'm
advertising as
wondering, yeah,
well.
yeah.
and I will say there was used to be Hike It, Spike It in Roswell, which was a flag football. That weekend alone brought over $3 million to Roswell in one weekend. Granted, Roswell has more hotels, more heads and beds, more restaurants. However, for our community, we could be filling up all of those and bringing a large crowd that would have a huge economic impact to Portales. And like Matt said, it's the brand, it's the name, you know, getting the Gus Macker here will definitely draw a crowd. And again, I was in Ruidoso as well, and it would take you 20 minutes to get from one place to the next because of the crowd of people. So that's what we want to see and what we want to try to bring to Portales in this community. So there's no other questions.
None for me.
All right, thank you. You're done.
Okay, guess the next step, we go into a closed session here. For everyone else, right, we're good?
Yeah.
So, all right, I'll
Like me to read the roll.
motion to go into closed session, so.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, then all have to say aye.
I.
Aye, there you go, TJ. We all say aye, go into closed session.
Love it.
All right,
Do I need to stop recording?
yeah, we
Yes.
need to stop recording this. Yeah, anyone needs to use the.
There you go.
All right, I wanted to move that we come out of closed session.
Second.
Everybody aye? Okay. Other business, just real quick question. Do we have to vote on a president? Because we usually do. Is that, or
President or chair?
a chairman or whatever? I mean, if you guys want me to do it again this year, I can until someone else can bless the seat in the year if you guys would like. So I don't mind doing it if you guys are okay.
If you don't mind, I'll make the motion that you are president
Second.
or chairman.
All right, whatever. That works.
Whatever title.
Whatever.
Beat the boss.
Okay. Sounds good. We vote to adjourn then?
Yes.
All right.
aye.
All right. Thanks, guys.